Pastor Peter's journey in the dreaded community of Igbo Agbaye was once marked by resilience, faith, and unwavering determination. One time, his kindness began to draw the attention of the people. To further spread the gospel, he organized a special program titled The Hour of Divine Encounter. The program attracted a large portion of the community: the sick, needy, orphans, widow, the blind, and the deaf, all gathered in a small mud house to experience the presence of God. Pastor Peter prayed fervently, calling on God to show his power and transform lives. As the service reached its peak, news of gathering reached Rambo, the notorious cult leader who had terrorized the community for years. Angered by the thoughts of people abandoning the gods of their forefathers, Rambo rallied his gang, composed of fierce young men and women, to disrupt the program. Armed with weapons and the fire torches, they stormed towards a small church, determined to destroy it and silence Pastor Peter. However, as they approached the church, something unexpected happened. The moment Rambo stepped into the vicinity, he froze. A sudden overwhelming force gripped him, and he fell to his knees before Pastor Peter, weeping uncontrollably. "Forgive me," Rambo cried. "Man of God, forgive my sins. I have come to destroy you, but now I see that your God is the true and living God. Please pray for me." The gang members, shocked and confused, called out to Rambo, "What's wrong with you? This isn't the plan. Get up and burn the place." But Rambo stood up, turned to his followers, and commanded them, "Drop your weapons and surrender to the Lord. This God is greater than anything we have ever known." Though some of the gang members initially resisted, they too felt the undeniable presence of God. One by one, they laid down their weapons and knelt in submission. Pastor Peter prayed for them, leading them to Christ. The miraculous events marked a turning point in the community. The news spread like wildfire. People began bringing out their wooden gods and idols, setting them on fire in public, declaring of their new faiths. The community underwent a complete transformation. The once feared youth turned into a devoted Christians, joining Pastor Peter in spreading the gospel. The small mud house could no longer contain the growing congregation. With the support of the community, a larger church was built to accommodate the influx of worshippers. Ada, the courageous young woman who had stood by Pastor Peter during his darkest days, could no longer resist the calls of Christ. She surrendered her life to Jesus, and her former gang members followed suit. The peace and joy that filled the community became a testimony of God's power. Pastor Peter and Ada grew closer as friends and partners in ministry. Eventually, Pastor Peter proposed to Ada, and they were married in a joyous ceremony attended by the entire community. Ada, now pregnant with their first child, became a pillar of support to Pastor Peter as they continued to minister together. The remarkable transformation in Igbo Agbaye reached the ears of the zonal church leaders, including the bishop, senior pastors who have sent Pastor Peter there, believing it would end his ministry. Intrigued and humble, they decided to visit the community to witness the change for themselves. When they arrived, they were astonished at what they saw: a thriving church, peaceful community, and Pastor Peter, now a reverend leader. Over dinner, the bishop confessed, "Pastor Peter, we sent you here not out of love but to punish you. We thought this place would be the end of you, but God has proven us wrong." Pastor Peter smiled and replied, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good. It was all part of his plan to glorify his name and transform this land. He prayed with them, hugged them, and forgave them wholeheartedly. As the bishop and the senior pastors returned to the zonal headquarters with the good news, Pastor Peter reflected on his journey, the humiliations, hardship, and trials he had endured with now distant memories, overshadowed by the joy of seeing lives transformed. Looking at Ada, who was glowing with pregnancy, Pastor Peter smiled and said, "Thank you for standing by me. When I was at my lowest, God used you to strengthen my faith and mission. Together, we will continue to serve Him." The story of Pastor Peter became a beacon of hope and a testimony of God's power to use anyone willing to trust Him, even in the face of adversity. The once dreaded community of Igbo Agbaye was now a flourishing center of faith and love, all because of one man's obedience to God's call.